Okay, so when a doctor is asking what your numbers are, and for the women, I hope you've gone for cervical cancer screening, breast screening, and all that. For the men, you need to know your PSA value, you need to know your blood pressure values, your glucose values, and all that. So we all enjoyed all that, and I deem it necessary to still come back and continue this, because sometimes we have a way of mixing up self-care, taking care of ourselves, physical activity. We mix it up with well-being. These are two different things. You're going to understand what it means. I mean, what well-being is. And for me, particular, I actually, yes, I'm a clinician. I love what I do. I love what I did in the COVID. I managed over 1,000 patients in the COVID for 3.5 years. My life was for people, but I saw it all. I mean, those who survived, I saw those who even died of it. And I could tell you, following the post-COVID era, I could tell you what people are really coming out with. And the question for me as a clinician is, what are we going to be seeing 5 years, 10 years from now? I mean, from those who survived COVID, I'm not speculating anything, but we are just getting prepared and getting ready for whatever that will come out. Okay, so going forward, I understood so well that there's a difference between well-being, wellness, and just trying to keep fit and just trying to eat good food or just trying to sleep. Two different things. And so we chose this topic, Mr. Mike and I, we went all through and said, let's bring out the science. I mean, there's a scientific explanation to what happens to our well-being. And if we don't understand this basis, I believe in evidence-based medicine. I don't just talk assumption. Of course, from my background and as a researcher, everything I'm going to be presenting will be backed by studies and backed by science. And so I'll be teaching you in this era that we have great rapid advancement in technology, in everything. The COVID has come with its own problem, social vices, and all that. So there is need for us to discuss this, and there is need for me to really teach you some of those tools that has helped me and that is working for also my patient. And that's why this topic is discussed. So let us go straight ahead and discuss what else. Of course, remember, I quoted this, that even in the Bible, God actually wants us to live healthy. God in 3 John verse 2, for those of you who read the Holy Bible here, of course, God said, above all things, I am wishing you, above all things, you continue to prosper and to enjoy good health. I mean, every time it is emphasized, good health, good health. And then the scripture now concluded by saying that if you enjoy good health, then you prosper. So it means the slogan, health is wealth, is right. It is coined from the Bible. God himself knew that if you're healthy, then you have saved yourself much. And that is what I believe so much. I believe so much that a lot of diseases can actually be prevented. And you're going to understand why I said so. So this is going to guide our discussion today. Yeah, the outline. Let's see the outline. Who is actually moderating the slide for me? Yes. So this is what we are going to be discussing today. Basic concepts. You're going to understand the health, wellness, well-being science, and all that. The science of well-being, the concept of well-being, and all that. So what would be the goal of this? This presentation is aimed to explore all aspects of science of well-being and provide practical strategies for enhancing our well-being. Okay, so those are some of the things that we are going to be discussing today. For you, the participant, well, that is for the general goal of the discussion, but for you, the participant, there are 3 things that I'll be expecting the outcome at the end of this discussion going forward. You should understand the science of well-being and better understand how your bodies and your minds function. You should identify a series of well-being practices and be able to incorporate them into your daily lifestyle. I mean, it's going to be part of you. Of course, nobody can remind you to brush your teeth every morning. So you see, brushing your teeth is a part of you. I mean, it's one of those hygiene that you want to do. So why are you so consistent about it? So is there a way that you will make well-being like that, like brushing your teeth, something that you can't do without? And that is the goal of this. That is just what I want you to develop after this. You'll be guided into designing your own that suits you, not what you see your neighbor doing, not because your neighbor is waking up in the morning and going to the gym, and so you want to follow. And in that gym, you actually don't have a purpose. You actually don't know why your neighbor is using the treadmill. You just climb on the treadmill with no purpose. So you're going to be designing your own well-being too that suits you, that suits your body mass, that suits who you are and what happiness you want to get. Okay, so that's what we'll be discussing today. So when you look at that diagram, I don't know what is it telling you? What does it mean to you? I mean, you can actually browse this. This is complete wellness. It will shock you. Wellness. So you have all these components. I can tell you, yes, nutrition is there, movement is there, success is there, happiness is there, beauty is there, aesthetic, and all the achievement, fulfillment, happiness. Everything is in that diagram, but I'm going to be bringing it one after the other. So let us see. There's a picture I want you to see next. Yes, next slide. Please, ladies and gentlemen on this call, can you just look at this man? The man is still alive. Yeah. He is 100 years. He clocked 100 years, 2020. He celebrated his 100 years plus. He is well kitted. For the men, I mean, I don't know how old you are listening to me, but can you add the remaining years to bring it to 100? I don't know how strong and how healthy you're feeling, but do you think that in the years that you're adding to bring it to 100, do you think you're going to be looking like that man, strong, healthy, not using glasses? Yes, I did a search on centenarians. We call them centenarians. You can also browse on centenarians. I know one of the scientists of the modern science that I believe so much, Dr. Nagasawa. Dr. Nagasawa is a toxicologist, and in fact, he is a senior scientist in University of Minnesota, and most of the things, some of his work I'm going to be highlighting here. I have met his son, is about 57. I met his son, pharmacist, is a farm MD. I met him in Ghana in 2017, okay, during my medical school. I can tell you Nagasawa he clocked 92, August 2022. He's not using glasses. He's still researching. In fact, he was the inventor of the 3 minutes antidote to cyanide poison. You remember during the time of Bin Laden, the Twin Tower that got down, history has it that cyanide was actually emitting and there was dangerous. Those who inhaled it, there was a lot of problems, follow-up, research that was done. Even it was affecting the unborn fetus. And so scientists were called upon to design a 3 minute cyanide antidote to cyanide poison. It took him 3 months to come out with antidote of cyanide. 92 good years. Still standing, still researching, a senior scientist in University of Minnesota. He's still the scientist that certified every man that goes to the moon. And he tells them that this man will survive in the moon. 92 years old. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. How old are you today? And that's what I call wellness. So we are teaching this. So as a way of introduction, so I just want all of us to understand that for all there is a really decline in health. And I can tell you sometimes in the past, I mean, the generation in the 12th century, in the pre-Christian era, those of you who are Muslims before the coming of Muhammad and all that, those eras, can you really pick out the cause of death? What was actually the cause of death? You observe with me that what was being recorded, what we know is that they are born, they grow old, and then they die. And then most of our great-grandparents, what was the record? What is history telling us? They grew, they got married, they started procreating, and they got old, aged, and they died. So it means that aging was the cause of death. So they get to their prime, to the most peak of their life, and they feel they are satisfied, and they die. Today, what is the problem? What really is the cause of death? Is this aging now? No. And you and I, we are scared of getting old, but then it wasn't. I mean, aging should not scare anyone at all, because you age gracefully. I mean, there's beauty, there's wisdom in getting old. But now you're scared of getting old because of what it is coming with. So people are dying now because of decline in health, diabetes, hypertension, and all that. So what have we done wrong? So well-being in essence is a deep sense of pleasantness. I mean, something we experience within, depending on your level. Of course, my level of pleasantness, my level of joy and happiness is different from your own, may not be the same level, but depending on it, that feeling that is deep-seated into you, that is what it means. It's a state of mind. It's a state of the body, emotions, energy that you carry. The body is filled of energy. Everything you do about it. I mean, people feel the aura around you. That is what well-being is all about. It requires commitment. Our commitment to tend to ourselves, our commitment to tend to other people, to do our work with joy is an ongoing practice, ongoing that you do until you get to that point. And so that is what it is. So what is health? Next slide. So what is health? So what to look at, yes. No, let's just go back to, I know I've said some things here, well-being, sorry. Yeah. Remember, in the last time I told you about, I defined health according to WHO, and I told you that WHO defined health as a feeling, that state of physical, mental, and social well-being. That was what we defined last month. But what is different in this? If any of you can dictate. The definition of well-being, different from, is just one word, emotional. In health, yeah, somebody was asking the last time, does it mean that nobody is healthy? Well, at the end of this course, you will answer that question yourself. Okay, so the feeling, the physical, mental, emotional, the emotional component is actually what this is all about. This well-being science is all about, because I'm going to be talking more on the emotional state, and that is where the well-being starts from. That is where it's all. So if the emotional aspect is taken care of, I can tell you the physical, the mental, and the social will be taken care of. So that's another thing. So well-being is linked to happiness and life satisfaction. So it is different from physical health, step in maintaining healthy living. I give you an example. You could say, I want to exercise. So you exercise on Saturday, and next week Saturday there is a wedding. And because there's a wedding of a close friend, you don't exercise. Okay, so that is you're trying to keep fit. And so you eat good food, you take smoothie this week, and then your assignment change, you find yourself offshore, and you don't even have your blender in your house. When you come back home, you take smoothie every day. But when you go offshore, because I know I'm working with a lot of persons who are in the oil industry here, and others too. Okay, so when you go back, and what do you find yourself? You go offshore, and you can't afford those smoothie every day, because you need to be working. Otherwise your boss will sack you. Okay, so you see, you have stopped it for 2 months. You're not on those smoothie. So it is different for well-being. I want you to understand this. Why it matters so much. It matters so much because health is connected to it. It's different from well-being. Well-being is that whether you are offshore, onshore, on land, inside, every time, it is part of you. It is like the breath you're taking in. So if you understand these two things, I hope you have understood that very well. Well-being matters so much because it's just who you are. It's just who you are. I can tell you. You know, the word health originated from the word whole. So it's just that thing that makes you whole. It's not just not being sick, the absence of disease. It's not just not I'm okay, I'm not sad and all that. No, it is who you are going forward. Okay, so let us see that that graph. Yeah, let's look at that graph. Oh my gosh, I want you to look at it. You know, sometimes when you say something, you don't back it up with scientific studies. I didn't want to wire everybody with a lot of studies, and like I told you, I'm a PhD study, so I have articles and manuscripts and publications I have published and released. One was just released last approved last week in an international medicinal journal. So I write a lot, so I deal with data. So anything I'm telling you is something I've researched and I'm telling you. Now, this is a typical prevalence of people in Nigeria with hypertension. What is baffling me in this graph, for those of you who can actually capture a graph in a sentence, overall, what are you really seeing? The prevalence of male with hypertension is higher overall, isn't it? I don't know why, man. Okay, so we have to take care of you guys so well. So men, you have problem. Men have a lot of problem thinking, the work, the load, and all that. So we have sympathized with you anyway. But the baffling thing in this is that as young as below 20 years, did you observe, have hypertension? Come on. As young as 20 years old. What is that telling all of you on this call? Diseases not known, not peculiar, not common, is not common. I tell you that for me in public health medicine, it is before that we ascertain, we use age to determine certain diseases, because now we are seeing a decline. We are seeing a situation where even the younger ones are suffering diseases that before we associated them with age. And so we are seeing a decline in that. And so younger ones, young men 30 years are having stroke, cardiac arrest. Young boys as young as 20, diabetes and all that. So we need to be careful what all this means to us. Okay, so I'm going to be telling you about some activity here. This activity, I really is something that I really want you to do on your own. You know, I need you wherever you're seated now. You could use just 30 seconds. Can you on your own describe your state of being when you're drained of power? You can pen it down because, you know, I told you we are doing practical here. Can you remember an incident, whether in your office or in the family or in the house, or maybe you got pissed off, your wife got to piss off, your husband got to piss off, your spouse got to piss off, your boss got to piss off, and your teacher got to piss off, and all that? Can you remember those periods when you were drained? Describe your state of being. I mean, how were you feeling? How were you feeling? Pen it down. I want to know. There are certain things I want to be hearing. I want you to note. Okay, before I can say this. Also, describe your state of being when you are on top of your game, when you're happy. I mean, you're so happy and everything is going on for you, and you feel you got a promotion, your boss is happy with you, or your husband has gotten you a very lovely dress for a dinner, and you feel you're happy, you're so happy. Can you also describe, use adjective, please? Can you use adjective? Because you're not going to forget what you pen down. It is an exercise. Please don't take it for granted. Something that is tested and proven. Okay, this is yourself. When I teach well-being, I want you to put it, to make it yours. You know, it's not Dr. Sylvia talking. It's not, Dr. Sylvia is not talking to the person beside you. I'm talking to you, looking at me. So, okay, so please describe those two things. Now, for the first one, does these things resonate with you? Chaotic, stress. I mean, those times you are drained. Do you feel yourself? Do you use the word stress? Defeated. Is it in your vocabulary? Sad. Is it in your notebook? Distraught, like feeling of frustration, like uneasy, exhausted, burdened up. I mean, angry. I mean, write it down. Does it resonate with you? Okay, so let's start the second one. The time you were on a very high spirit, everything was going on for you. Did you feel something like excited, jubilant, fulfilled, purposeful, confident, energetic, thriving, joyous, humble, grateful, happy? Are these adjectives, are they in the things that you are recorded? Okay, so This is just an assessment tool. This is just an assessment tool. I'm using it for you to assess your level of burnout. It is a quantitative tool. I told you I am really a researcher here. So I bring things that are practical. These are things you can be doing. You can be doing on your own. You can be using to assess your employees, people that are working under you from time to time. I mean, this self-assessment tool, okay, you just adapt it to yourself. It helps you in occupational practice, in everything that you do, to actually know when you are above the line and below the line. You know, all those frustrations are really below. They are really below the line. Yes. But all those happy mood, you're above the line, you're in control. You understand? But did you observe something that is just you, only you, one person with two feelings? I am coming closer to the main science. I mean, one individual, two personality at a point. At one point, you were frustrated, you were sad, you were angry, you want to tear anybody apart, you want to shout. I mean, you want to shout the whole house down. Only you. At another moment, you're hugging the same person you're frustrated with. You're laughing with her. You're joyful. You're sitting down. One personality, one person, one individual, one soul, one mind, one body, producing two different variations of feeling, emotion. Okay, so I told you that the emotional component is really where well-being comes in. And most times we find ourselves not controlling the other aspect of frustration. We don't control the negative part. And I will tell you why when I'm describing the science of well-being. So let us go straight down to the science of well-being. Are we ready? Are we ready? You want to drink water? You can just take water, drink. Take your pen, pencil, and drawing book, however you want to write, and write. Yes. So let us kickstart the science of well-being. So you see, I have described different kinds of emotion to you. In my previous presentation, I actually took time to explain to you some of the things that happen, you know, some of the opportunities you have when you in your state of well-being and all that. So all what I want to do for you now, I have also opened your views on practical things that happen to us in real life situation. But we actually don't have an idea that these things that we do have attached to what we are, attached to our well-being. Let me give you an illustration. For instance, a situation where you enter the room, your room, it is your room, Midi, and you knew the things that are in your room, but just suddenly the light went off. And then as you turned, you saw an image that looked like something. I don't believe in ghosts anyway. So you saw something that looked like something. And you jumped. I mean, the way you jumped on your bed, on a normal time, you can't even do that. Okay. Something in you told you that your life is in danger. Something is, what is this thing standing? And you screamed, and suddenly the light came. Oh my God. I just noticed that it is your own dress, your gown, your dress that was hanging, but it took the shape of something that your brain has interpreted as human, and it is coming from the unknown world. And you screamed and you were scared. And what noticed? Your heart started. At that point, your heart was palpitating and all that. Okay, so these are things that happen, you know. So the brain plays a crucial role in shaping every individual's well-being. Are you with me? Okay, somebody was. Okay, so the brain plays a crucial role in shaping one's well-being. The brain is the control center of our thoughts, of our emotions, our behavior, and our overall mental and physical health. I want you to know that. So if you want to understand how the brain influences our well-being, this is then why you're here. It is valuable. It is priceless. It is something that you need to know. And when you know this truth, it promotes you. It maintains you. It keeps you at such an optimal level. And then you tend to be in control of what is happening. The prefrontal cortex versus the amygdala. These are two. There are different parts of the brain, but the one that concern what we want to teach is what I want to bring to you. Now, if the prefrontal cortex is actually a part of our brain that differentiates us from animals don't have this. Okay, even you as a human who understand that there is a God, there are three things that God that differentiates us from animal. We have three faculties: faculty of judgment, discernment, and reasoning. These things differentiate us from animal. Okay, I'll give you an instance. Let's say in the jungle, a deer, for instance, or a lion could, let's just use a deer. A deer might find his territory threatened, and probably he hears the sound of a lion roaring, and then all the deers just run and run. Let's say they were grazing very beautiful grasses, they were eating, and then now suddenly a lion roars and they all ran. After some time, what happens? There was a threat, and then they came back to graze. They are not thinking whether the lion will come back up again. They are not being judgmental. They are not reasoning. But compared with humans, somebody have done something wrong with you, to you. You carry this thing. In fact, it might even be in your company. It might be in your house. It might be in your family. It might be your mother-in-law, father-in-law, anybody. You carry this thing in your mind. Year 1, year 2, year 3, 10 years after, when you are narrating the story, in fact, you will narrate it so well that the person will think that it happened just yesterday. That is what your prefrontal cortex have made it. You can recall. You can bring back threats that should have been forgotten. See, this is very serious, honestly. You're trying to bring back threats that shouldn't be, threats that happened in the past. You're bringing it to the present that will fashion and mold your future. So what happens? Okay, so you see, so what your brain, what you are presented to your brain is the diagram you draw is what your brain will take. You understand? So this part of the brain is very, very important. Very important. Now let's look at the amygdala. Yes, let's look at the amygdala. The next one. So you want to note that your seat of reasoning, your thinking, your judgment, your discernment, your being who you are, your being logical, your being rational is being controlled by the prefrontal cortex. And the animals don't have it. Now, the amygdala is just a small walnut piece size of an organ situated in the brain. And you know what it does? The amygdala is actually does 4 things. It's actually one of the things that actually it warns us. Is a signal. You understand? So it warns you against threats. That's what the amygdala does. Yes, it protects you from any incoming threats. Yes, so you can either fight or flee from a case, or you can appease a problem, or you can how will I put it? Or you can decide to feel like it doesn't exist. You understand? Yes, you can decide to feel like it doesn't matter to me. I'll give you an instance in a setting. There may be somebody that can handle problem in an office very well. Maybe there is a problem. Maybe there is an argument, or somebody attacks your ego, and your boss or your junior attacks your ego. Now, one person can decide to leave that scene. I'm not concerned. You come for a board meeting, or you come for a staff meeting. There are some persons that will not talk. If you want it good, we are there. If you want it bad, we are also there. They will not contribute to whatever issue, no matter how bad that issue is. They will not make comments. What are they doing? They are just appeasing. Their brain just say, do that. There's also another group of people that what do? They fight. Yes, they attack it as it is. You give it to me, I give it back to you. So there's another group that also does what? They also do what? They run away from it. So if you have impending danger, if there is an incoming danger coming, that is it. So let me tell you a little about this amygdala. Amygdala can detect threats. It's like an emergency alarm in your brain. It can warn you of danger. It can interpret what you consider as threat as danger. And when that happens, it starts releasing, it activates the hormones to be released. And when it activates this sense, these stressors, some stress hormone. And of course, you're going to see some of these stress hormones, but I want you to understand how the amygdala works. So amygdala will detect something, interpret it as a threat, and activates the brain center to release some stress hormones. And when these stress hormones are released, they go either to the liver or to the pancreas, which you're going to see me illustrate, and then they do their job. Now, the difference between the amygdala, the danger here is that the amygdala cannot actually differentiate between actual threats. So those are the 4 ways that your body responds to stress. So I'm trying to explain that. The amygdala cannot really differentiate between real life situation threat and actual threat, like a lion is trying to touch you, or like your house is on fire and you need to jump from a story building. The amygdala cannot differentiate. But as soon as you raise that threat, you raise that alarm, you stress that anxiety comes up, the amygdala interprets it as a threat, and those stress hormones will start coming down. So what is the danger? Little thing like traffic jam could activate the amygdala. Yes. Little thing like wasting time. You're waiting for a very long time. How you react to it, make the amygdala to react to it and consider it as real threat. And the same way it will respond to actual threat, that is the way amygdala will respond. And you know what? There's a professor that describes what happens. You understand? One of the best scientists of the neurons and the brain. He said there's a situation we call the amygdala hijack. A situation whereby the amygdala hijacks the prefrontal cortex. When that happens, the seat of reasoning, thinking is hijacked by this amygdala. And so the individual finds himself acting irrational. Has that happened to you before? You remember the instance I told you, one individual exhibiting two things, sad, anger, happiness, joy, and all that. Okay, so you see, so that is when you see people so angry, amygdala has hijacked their seats of reasoning and rationality and being logical. You will see a man talking, in public or answering call, using languages that, you start looking, is this really our MD? Is this really a boss? Is this really my husband? Is it really my friend? Is it really my spouse? I don't understand. Is it really my father? The amygdala at that point has hijacked the prefrontal cortex and an individual. So well-being practice, well-being consciousness, intentional well-being is you understand when this hijack is playing out. And you are in control of your body, you are in control of your brain. At that point, when you see somebody and people say he doesn't get angry, he's a very patient man. He talks with us with respect. At that point, that individual has gotten to a point of well-being. Yeah, it's being recorded. I hope somebody's asking. It has gotten to a point where the individual is intentional about what is happening to his person in his brain, and is not allowing the amygdala to hijack the prefrontal cortex. He wants the seat of thinking, being rational, to overshadow the stress hormones that is being released. And so that is number one step toward getting well-being. I hope you all understand. So these are some of the 4 ways, like I explained, that your body reacts to stress. Yeah. So it can fight against the threat, it can flee from it, it can act as if you're not alive, or it can bond with the source of the threat. Sometimes somebody will just do, hey, just like try to scare you, and all you do, you grab the person. What if the thing is a very dangerous thing? Okay, so that is the way your body wants to react to it. You want to bond with it and all that. So there are many ways that our body reacts to stress. So these are some of the way the the activation of the stress hormone happens. And when the stress hormones are released, what do you use? I'm going to discuss some of them as neurotransmitters. So that's why I'm not laying more emphasis on some of these, the hypothalamus control of the brain. I didn't want to sound too scientific. Okay, so you can see that from the hypothalamus to the spinal cord, and your nerve, sensory nerve send the signal and releases, and they pour down. Okay, you can see all the organs that are affected. There's an increased heart rate. Your liver converts glucagon to glucose at that point. Of course, that is what happened. That's why we say sometimes anxiety, stress can actually make you, predispose you to diabetes. You understand? Because these hormones are poured into the pancreas. There is decreased digestive activity when some of this happens. Sometimes you will find yourself, you can't even swallow. I mean, the highest peak of anger. You see yourself that, I mean, your swallow reflex will just cut off instantly. Sometimes you can even have diarrhea. Sometimes you can even have constipation and all that. Your blood pressure tends to go up and up, your heart and all that. Your bronchioles start dilating at that point. It's very, very dangerous. I mean, very, very dangerous. And so when you start seeing yourself, your heartbeat is going faster, your blood pressure is rising, your breathing becomes so faster, start restricting. You feel like, there's some person that when they're angry, it's as if their heart is constricting, the blood vessels are constricting, like they want to die, they want to suffocate. I mean, to the extreme point of that. And you know what this can do? You know what stress hormones can do? You know what the amygdala can do? At that point, when it becomes rational, you can just carry your flat screen, an expensive flat screen, and you just throw it on the ground. I mean, you have no idea the extent anger can go. So at that point, your body is on a very high alert. Yes. And so when you hear that sound, high alert, so what do? That is the time for you to now respond. So you don't want the amygdala to pick that danger. You don't want the amygdala to start acting, and all that. So our emotions are really very, very important. The way we control it is very, very important. Okay, so let's look at the neurotransmitters. Yeah, sure. So let's look at the neurotransmitters, which are some of those hormones that when you yourself activate the amygdala, you don't need to, But I want to tell you that stress in itself is not bad. I want to quote this. Yes, there's some good form of stress. We have different forms of stress. Yeah, we have, oxidative stress, which I'm going to explain later, which some of you don't know. We have some physical stress, we have chemical stress, and we have techno stress. I mean, this one is the one that people don't understand. Techno stress is the handset, the device, the laptop. I mean, these have made people to lose track of their well-being. Techno stress is the and the modern disease that is ravaging modern society today as a result of the rapid advancement in some of this technology. And in few years, doctors will start getting, most of their patients will start reporting, all because of techno stress. I mean, you're on your AirPod all the time, you're on your phone all the time, you're eating, your device is in front of you, your laptop is in front of you, you don't longer enjoy quality good time like we explained the last time. So these neurotransmitters, and some of them are the serotonin, the dopamine, and endorphin. I mean, I love this hormone because they actually the mood hormones. The serotonin, for instance, supports feelings, supports your joy. I mean, I call it the joy hormone, the happy hormone. So it is the hormone that makes you feel happy, makes you feel contented with whatever you have, irrespective of the economic hardship, irrespective of fuel scarcity. I mean, that is your well-being. I'm teaching it because this is practical. We are all living in Nigeria. Everybody is complaining. Sometimes I ask myself, what will be the cause of anxiety, political anxiety in the next future? These things impact on our health negatively. What will be the outcome of all this anger on somebody you can't even control? What will be the cause of this anger and agitation and WhatsApp write-up and feeling of what? You just can't control it? Even the Bible, Jesus could not control the world. You know that. Despite the fact that he fed 3,000 persons with just 2 fishes and bread, he couldn't save the world, and they still killed him. So who is man? Who is that your chosen man that you think will be the Messiah of Nigeria? Come on, come out of, wake up. He is not Jesus Christ. Jesus couldn't correct the world. Neither did the forerunner of the Islam, Muhammad, correct the world. Come on. And where are they today? They are not with us. So why do you want to give yourself problem in the next 5 years? Why don't you build your well-being? And so well-being is different from going for exercise and coming back and looking at the rise news and getting angry. You see? So if you have a good well-being practice, you go for your exercise, you go to your gym, you come back, Arise says something about how many 70 billion given to House of Assembly or National Assembly, and then your blood pressure goes up. What is your business? Then you don't have a well-being. Even if they mention it, and so what? With that money come to me and my family. Do we have garden in the house? Do we have rice in the house? My wife, are we happy together? My children, I hope you're going to school, everything. That is well-being. You control it, you're intentional, you're happy about it. And so that's what we are trying to teach you here. For emotional stability, for good mental health, it is essential to keep your neurotransmitter system in a healthy balance. So let's look at neuroplasticity. I hope I am not using too much medical terms. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you could be jotting down. That's why I'm trying to bring it down in such a way that you understand. So I'm trying to look at some little. There are so many, but I just brought out the few ones that you can actually resonate with. The brain has remarkable ability for some neuronal plasticity, as medical people that will always call it. And what it means that it enables you to adapt and evolve over the course of life. So we can learn, we can develop new habits, we can heal from stress, from injury, from heartbreak, from divorce, from whatever. You can heal from it because of this functionality of the brain, the neuroplasticity of the brain. And so it helps you to increase your brain resiliency. It helps you to promote general health. It helps you to partake in activities that actually helps. You understand what I mean? So I tell people that we have not used the brain to its capacity. When you feel that an environment or something is a stressor to you, what do? You switch. So this function of the brain can help you switch to another person. If you are an engineer, you can be a medical doctor. You know my background. Oh my God, people don't know that. People don't know that I have a degree in economics. Yes, I did some from economics, but I was able to adapt, to switch. I finished school so early at 18 years. You know, I was already getting a first degree, so I was like, what do I do next? You could switch. I mean, switching from the social science background to a medical background, and then from a medical clinician to a public health medicine. And not just that, I'm also learning French because I find myself working with NGOs that work in African countries that speak French. And so I felt like I could learn French. And so I could learn French, bonjour, bonsoir, and I could speak French to some extent that I could pass my A1, A2, A3. You see, switching. The same brain also made me, I got to a field during my internship, and I noticed that I found myself in an environment where you have deaf and dumb. And I said, I want to learn ASL, American Sign Language. And I started signing. I mean, I'm a good signer. I could communicate with the deaf. I could do lip reading. I mean, I could talk with them. We had an experience where a deaf woman who wants to put to bed and nobody could communicate. And imagine if I was not there to rescue. So you see, the brain can switch. And at this point in life, I'm so happy. I mean, I'm so happy. I switch, I move. I'm so happy. It means that you can switch, you can train your brain. We have not scratched a percentage of the brain capacity. We haven't. People go to the moon, the same brain. People develop the handset, everything that you use. We are going into digital health. I'm writing a proposal on telemedicine because we want Nigeria to get into a point where everyone could get connected. The way both Uber, you could be in your house, write your symptoms. A doctor, your specialist doctor in the city knows your symptom, start recommending immediately. We could have wireless diagnostic machines that we can use and diagnose patients in a hard to reach area. And the specialist in the city will be attending to that case without delay. This is where we are headed. So you see, you can switch your brain to any part you want to go. That is neuroplasticity. So when a stressor is making you uncomfortable, come on, change. Learn something new. Learn music. Play the guitar. Play the piano. Be happy for yourself. And that is well-being. You will not bother. Now, let's look at another science of well-being. I've been discussing the brain. I've been discussing the emotional aspect. Let's look at toxins. Stressor. Do you know that your human body contains trillions of cells? Do you know about that? I want to come to our cells now. I've been talking about the physical component of. Do you know that your body creates over 40 billion new cells, including the red blood cells, every day? Every day. And this is why science, this is where we fail. This is where we keep asking ourselves, why do we age? Why do we die then? If the body has a self-healing ability, if you have a cut, and even without suturing, without going, I mean, not the deep one that you need a doctor, but in a normal domestic cut in the kitchen, and what do? All of a sudden, after some days, you notice that the skin has covered. The cells renews itself. The self-healing ability of the body. What made it possible? So if the cell can heal themselves, if the cells can actually do this, so why then do we age and why then do we die? This is where God is greater than us. And so you understand. So every of our cell, there's something that God has put in us. This is where I'm coming now, into nutrition, into supplementation. So if we are handling our emotional health, our mental health, our physical health, if we are making our brain so okay, but yet our cells are dead, then there's problem. So you can pronounce this word glutathione wherever you're seated. I did the research. I mean, what I am teaching you is just something that is helping, that helped. Okay, so glutathione, if you don't know how to pronounce it, you can say glutathione. So glutathione is your body ability, to produce, is a molecule in our cells that helps your body to produce its own antioxidant. So it's a preventive antioxidant. That's what glutathione is. It's actually self-producing. It's not something that we read in medical school. It's not something many doctors do not know about it because it is inborn. It is in our cell. And glutathione is a tripeptide. Yes, it's an amino acid. It's made up of 3 amino acids: glycine, glutamic acid, and cysteine. These are 3 amino acids. Of course, we are all amino acids. Protein is the building block of the body. When we say give your children proteins and beans and all that, we know what we say you do that, because they grow with that. So the 3 amino acids come together to form glutathione. And when they are in your cell, what do? These are the benefits of glutathione. This is why God put glutathione into your body. You know what? Glutathione helps you maintain energy. Glutathione helps you strengthen your immune system. A lot of my patients who survive, many of you didn't get COVID, your immune system was actually, because the severity of COVID is dependent on the immune response of an individual. And that is why we say antibodies may not really be the result or the solution, because the virus keeps mutating and mutating and mutating. Okay, so you see, but you have enough glutathione in your cells, your liver is very strong, and you find out that the effect of stress, antioxidation, is an antioxidant. So when we say oxidation, what do we mean? Okay, oxidation is those toxins, free radicals, those things that are produced. I don't want to go into too much chemistry here, but just know that every time you eat your food, every time you drink water, metabolize, every time metabolism takes place, every time you breathe in oxygen, before the oxygen gets to the blood, it must be broken down to its unit, reducible units, so that the blood can pick it, and have the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. And so it is actually the glutathione that makes it. So as these things are happening, toxins, free radicals are produced. So I'll give you an example. Some of you have eaten apple before. So when you eat apple, what happens? So you find out that as soon as you cut the apple into 2, the apple starts decomposing and start changing color. So what do? So that is oxidation. For those of you that work with steel and iron, as soon as water, in the presence of H2O, water and hydrogen and oxygen, the iron starts rusting, isn't it? Yeah. So if you want to save the life of the iron, you lubricate it, isn't it? Okay. So that lubrication, that thing that is happening to the apple, to the iron, to the rusting, happens to our cell every time free radicals are produced. So God put glutathione to wipe your cells of these toxins, and so you start enjoying all this, and that's why you're okay. And 60% of toxicity goes to the brain. You know why? Because we breathe in more oxygen to the brain. More of the toxin, you're doing a lot of mental work, you're being on your system, the brain is taking in a lot of toxic materials, and that is why we should have high level of glutathione, then you're living healthy. Low level of glutathione, then disease condition. As a matter of fact, the next slide will show you that there are a lot of studies, peer-reviewed studies. These are the studies that are done, peer-reviewed studies, to show the superiority of glutathione over other antioxidants like vitamin C. Yes, for me in COVID, a lot of my patients did so well when I start introducing the components, the supplement that can increase their glutathione level, because with 16 molecules, yes, the cells can produce its own. And the next slide will tell you that it is so rare to get. Yeah, because the bad news is that the glutathione, we don't really have enough of it, because as we age, it starts going down. Yes, aging can bring it down. From 0 to 20 years, you have high level of glutathione. That is why the youth, the young ones, they are very agile. I mean, your child could play from morning till night, hyperactive, but when you tell him to go to bed, immediately he sleeps. When you go back to check on him, he has slept. But adults will keep rotating and rotating. Our quality of sleep is not enhanced. But there are other things that can bring it down. Science of well-being. Alcohol, excessive alcohol. I don't preach, don't take alcohol, but you know your limit. But when I say you know your limit, some of you, your limit could be 1 crate of Heineken. No. So alcohol, excessive alcohol can bring down your glutathione level. Radiation, poor diet can bring down your glutathione level and all that. So let us go to the solution. We'll discuss the solution. I'm almost coming to an end. A lot of things to discuss in the science of well-being. Okay, so what is the solution? What do we do? Well-being practice is a term that we use for the practices that enhance our well-being. You can actually look at well-being practice as a tool. Something that you're using, like you are in a farmer, you have a knife and you're using it, you're in your system, your laptop, you can't do without it. So you can refer it as a tool, yes, as something that you need to work with. So that is what well-being practice is. Okay, so you are the person involved here. The key to well-being practice is discipline. When you look at musicians, when you look at athletes, when you look at the way they do their things, you see that they practice all the time. They do a lot of practice and discipline, avoid a lot of things because they really want to get healthy. Okay, so that is what well-being practice is. So it's a tool that helps you enhance your personal well-being. It is something that you have designed for yourself that you want to be using to enhance your well-being, and we are going to be looking at them. There are four. It is proven. A lot of studies were done and gathered by the University of Washington. I want to acknowledge them so much in really exposing me to a lot of this. It was quite intensive. So I really acknowledge University of Washington in one of these lectures, and I can tell you that it was very extensive. So I felt I should give it to you free. I paid thousands and thousands of dollars to get that. So I felt I should give it to you free because it's, in the end, is one thing, is everything. Okay, so what are some of those well-being tools? So according to research done globally, so 4 distinct tools we are identified. Okay, and you need to become conscious of it. You need to be intentional about it. And the first one is physical well-being. So, and the first tool there is movement. Okay, breathing and movement. Please note this down. Breathing and movement are 2 basic well-being tools, well-being practice tools. What is breathing? There are a lot of exercise. I'm going to type something in the chat box, so you could research on it. It's called Nadi Shuddhi. Nadil Shudi. I'm going to type it on the chat box later. Remind me. So you could go to YouTube now. You could type breathing tools, breathing exercise, and you could type Nadil Shudi. Nadil Shudi actually is one of the breathing. I mean, I chose that one because it is common. It is easier for you to adapt to. It gives you a position where you sit. I mean, 5 minutes every day. So you have a position where you're standing straight, and then you close one of the nostrils, you breathe in through the other nostrils, then you close, and then you breathe out like that. And you do it for 5 minutes. You inhale deep. Some of us don't know how to do how to inhale and exhale. I can tell you, most people don't breathe in. Your breathing is just hanging. But with Nadil Shudi, you can actually breathe in well. So you could have your own tool of breathing, but never you neglect breathing exercise 5 minutes every morning. You could do it any time of the day, but the best time for me is actually 5:50 a.m. or that period. Everywhere is this set of a new dawn and all that. I mean, you breathe in this now. You could go to if you have trees and flowers, you could go there and do your Nadil Shudi. Just put your mat on the ground and then you breathe in, close one of your nostrils, you see the position, and then you stand straight ahead and all that. You don't chew gum while you're doing it. And then you breathe out with the same nostril. Then you close that one. Then you breathe in with the other one. I mean, you try not to, you see, at the nostrils, right? So you try not to press so hard and all that, so that you don't occlude the oxygen you're trying to take in. You do this 5 minutes every day. Oh my God, check your skin at the end of 1 month. Check the color of your skin at the end of 1 month. Yeah, Kenneth. Okay, so that is breathing. The movement. Kenneth, you should unmute yourself. Yeah. Okay, so what about movement? So when you go to the website, now I'm giving you some secret. There's this African dance they call Kakuma. Yeah, Kakuma African dance. You can just put it on, just be writing. I'm going to be typing it. Let me not forget it. Or somebody can Kakuma African dance is one of the two that I chose for myself. There are many of them that you can use. So you have Nadil Shudi, and then you have Kakuma African dance. You see series. I mean, you can follow them only on Saturday. But if you have movement is a well-being practice. I mean, I'm not just talking of exercise. I'm talking of tools that are tested that gives you this feeling of fulfillment. I'm not telling you to go and do because you want 6 packs. You do 1 hour strenuous exercise. You're jogging every day. These are cool steps, smooth and lovely, and makes you, I mean, you're good to go. It gives you this, you connect with this universe, you connect with your being, you connect with yourself. So that is it. So Kakuma African dance is something you can do as a family. There's something I learned in Kenya, which is what University of Washington also advised. Many institutions, many companies have started adapting it. In Kenya, I was so surprised that a company have a period in a week where all the staff come out for 10 minutes and they are moving, they are shaking, everybody is dancing, and all that. From the MD to down, I mean, top officials, 10 minutes, they have this corridor. Everybody come out. It's fun once in a week, 10 minutes. The owner of the establishment love well-being, and everybody is happy. And from the statistics, they said the productivity of that company increased. Yes, it did. So you could do that. Those are 2 amazing well-being practices too. The next one is our physical. Let's take it one after the other. Yeah. The next one is our mental and emotional well-being. So I'm going to be taking the mental and emotional. So when we say the mental and emotional well-being, what do you mean? It means we have some tools like mindfulness, meditation. Okay, so when we say mindfulness meditation, it's just a practice where you are mindful of what is happening. You put yourself in a situation where you want to, for instance, you're watching the internet and something pop up that will get you angry and you switch it to another one. You're being mindful. Yes. Meditation is a period of time where you do personal meditation, personal study. You know, sometimes I do it with my Bible. When I say I'm a serious Bible student, I'm not exaggerating, because that is more like a letter from God to me. And anytime, any day I don't read it, I feel like something is lacking in me. You understand? So I find a time, a quiet time in my busy time. Please, God is not asking too much for you to connect with a verse of the Bible or a verse of anything that you want to connect with. Will come to connection. You read it. You want to ask yourself, what is this place teaching me about God? What is this? How can I apply it and all that? So you do that with your work. You do that with your office. You do that with what you do. You try to meditate on things. You practice it. So each time you practice and practice, and all that. So gratitude is also one of them. Self-compassion is also in this emotional well-being. What do I mean by self-compassion? It means cultivating kindness. For instance, I'll give you an example. What it means is that what you mean by self-compassion here is that, let's assume that you feel you're a failure and something has happened to you in the past and you feel you're a failure. Then you now decide to create another part of you that is a success. It means that you have to remember some things that you have done, some things that are not really failure, but they are success. And you try to pay yourself for those successes. So when you try to pay yourself, when you try to be grateful to yourself, when you try to say, Dr. Sylvia, I'm not a failure after all. Yes, I made mistake here. Yes, my unit is not happy with me. Yes, I have destroyed something, is not happy with me. But there are just some things I have done in the past that I should be grateful for. Man, I will just go take one drink, one red wine and be drinking. Dr. Sylvia, thank you. It's like second of you is talking to you and telling you you've done well. That is self-compassion. That is, you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you don't have good well-being. Irrespective of whatever the environment, the stressor is coming from, you want to love yourself. So that is it. What about social well-being connection? Connection means you want to connect with your colleagues, you want to connect with your family members, you want to connect with a God Almighty in heaven that you serve. Everybody have something they want to connect with. You find a time when you're enjoying that connection. See, the universe is that you connect with your dog. Are you aware that we share the same oxygen with animals? Dog, the chicken, the cat, the rat, the cockroaches, we share the same oxygen. Come on. They breathe in and breathe in. It's only plants that want to take the carbon dioxide that we are forming, and they give us oxygen. For animals, for the dog, we share the same thing with them. Oh, the oxygen you're using mixing with the one that the animals are breathing out. Yes, because God also breathes into them. They are living animals. So you see how it rotates. So you connect with something that you love so much, a pet that you love so much. That is well-being and all that. Meaning and purpose means that you have a purpose to life. You know why you're called. You know why. Remember last time I taught you work balance, isn't it? So you're investing your time and effort on building and maintaining the relationship with people. You're identifying some basic values. You're clarifying some personal values from daily activities. You're setting goals for yourself, realistic goals for yourself, even in your company. You're contributing your quota to what you're doing. You're engaging in activities that bring a sense of fulfillment. Oh God, a sense of fulfillment to yourself and to your organization. That is what meaning and purpose is. If we put all this together, you understand what? If we put all this together, I can tell you and I can assure you, well-being will be yours. And my recommendation at this point is that we don't end it in just ourselves. Yes, it is the well-being practice is for us to get healthy, for us to live happy. But I want you to put it forward. The well-being practice is to see how you can take it further from yourself. You influence one person, the person influences 5. How you can move it to your unit, how you can move it to your organization, how you can create, as a way of well-being. I'm advising you as a way of well-being your organization. Can you pick a day? Can you have a place where females can come together? Eat together, exchange some call it girls talk, call it girls idle talk. I mean, you share some thoughts, some secret, and you laugh over it. It could be 10, 15 minutes quality time in an organization. The men can also have a place where they go together. For us in the medical field, in the hospital, we have doctors, canteen, we have where we go, we sit, we laugh sometimes. Yeah, you also have your canteen. I've actually, one of the time I was managing COVID patients, I actually visited a vessel. I stayed in the vessel for like 2 weeks. And oh my God, I said, these people are like, man, this is like self-isolation. They don't have COVID, but they are really self-isolating themselves in this vessel. I mean, what is really happening here? I mean, they're just doing that. They come to eat, they just go pass their plates, collect very sumptuous meal. They go back to their seat. They are eating like robots as if they are being monitored and all that. I mean, in the vessel, I don't know what happens in your office place. I was looking at them, and meal time should be quality time. Meal time should have a time of background music. Meal time should be played where you're so happy with the food you're eating. You're eating as if somebody is forcing you to eat the food. No, it doesn't work like that. So please, everyone, going forward, achieving well-being practice in Nigeria, achieving well-being practice in our family, we have to be intentional about this. And to conclude this, I want to say that yes, that well-being practice is something that all of us should be so should love to do. I mean, the science of well-being offers us a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge about what we want to do, how we want to improve our general well-being, our resiliency in the face of difficulties. Please, in the face of difficulties. And that all these well-being advices and well-being tools are actually chosen. They are actually evidence-based. They are not just talk that Dr. Silva is talking. They are evidence-based practice that has been documented, studied, researched, questions were asked, and all that, and brought together, and it will help you improve your journey. See, this well-being is a journey. I'm not telling you that you're going to start today and it's going to end today. No, I'm not telling you that. There's something we call stick. I mean, I'm going to end it by saying that, yes, that there's something we call stick. Those tug of war, when people are holding a rope like that, and some persons are doing it's going to a point where the rope will cut. So just see this well-being practice like it's going to be a stick. It's going to a point where you stop it. You are going to start tomorrow. You're so excited about what Dr. Silva has said, and then you find yourself that next week you have stopped. No problem. Pick up again, start from where you stop, and all that, until finally it can get connected the way brushing your teeth every morning is connected. I hope you get that. So thank you so much, everyone, for this opportunity. And I'll be looking at the charts and I'll be taking some questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Could you please give her a round of applause, a virtuous one, I would say, or a virtual round of applause. Thank you very much. We have some questions already. Okay, so we will begin to take the questions just immediately. I will take the written ones, then from there I will take the written ones later. Okay. Okay, we have to be quick because of the time, but a number of people raise their hands, but we have to be quick because of the time. Maybe let me take I don't know if I can. Okay, let me take the written ones then. I will take those who have lifted up their hands. A number of people have. I start with one I see here. Avoidance of hearing sad news in Nigeria today is unavoidable. How can one living in Nigeria avoid it with the presence of social media, fake news, and the rest of that? It's a major source of bad stress. Thank you, Dr. Silva, for this insight. So maybe you help us here, please.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's unavoidable. Yeah, I agree with you. However, like I said, the two things that could help you, one is mindfulness, and the second is self-compassion. Self-compassion means that you identify the fact that there's a problem, you identify the fact that there's stress in the news, then you became mindful of it. And being mindful of it means that you want to now regulate what you listen. You want to regulate the time you want to spend on those news that trigger your stress hormones to release things that could impact on your cardiac health. And so that is just the answer. Being intentional about it. The moment you become intentional, you're sending a message back to your brain, and the signal your brain will interpret is that this man knows that's danger, but I think he's okay. Can we release the serotonin? Can we release some joy hormone for him? Can we make things. Can we bring down his palpitation? And these things start happening. So it's just connected with you. You at the center, you control it.
Okay, thank you very much. Quickly, we have another question. Thank you, Dr. Sylvia. Talking about glutathione, I hope I pronounced it well.
Yeah.
There's this supplement that boasts of restoring the glutathione in our bodies. Is it possible?
Yes. For me, the only one I can tell that I research is ribosine. Ribosine is a recent technology, D-ribose L-cysteine. I'm particular about that because of the cysteine molecule. And when we research, it is contained in one product called Celgevity. I mean, Celgevity is tested because it has 45 peer-reviewed studies. And the peer-reviewed, so when I look at supplement, I want to ask what is the mechanism of action? Like I discussed the last time, not just knowledge is power. You don't just pick anything that is in the market. You look at what studies, what findings, what are the things, what are evidence-based that are on that. And then what is the mechanism of action? Is it a supplement that it will do diabetes, it will do that, it will solve glaucoma, it will cure this? For this, it cures nothing. So what it does is that the cysteine in it, from the study that we did, the cysteine molecule in Celgevity goes to our cells, activates the glutamic and glycine. Three of them will come together and makes your cell to produce glutathione. And of course, from my modern study, my medicine taught me that glutathione cannot be taken from extracellular. It cannot be given from outside the body. Glutathione must come from inside the body. So anybody telling you that this cream contains glutathione, for the ladies that have some cream, or this supplement has glutathione can never enter the body from outside. It is from inside. So there must be some molecules, some research. And for me, for a takeaway, for the ones I gave to my patient, is actually Celgevity. So yes, we have some good glutathione enhancers that we can look for. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Silva. The questions are rolling in quickly.
They should.
Dr. Silva, please, how do you manage bottling up so much? Because we just want peace.
Okay. Is our nature, human nature, both? You're not bottling, because bottling is also another health problem. It's also a mental problem. When you bottle something up, there's something in mental health we call mute, of silence, mutism. Is a depressive problem, and I wouldn't want someone to get to that state, because you're so bottling up something in you and all that. You're not allowing it to flow. Sometimes it comes in your psyche. Sometimes you even find yourself dreaming about that. Okay, so I wouldn't even want you to bottle. That word bottling this problem. Speak out. Speak. It's not a bad idea to share opinion. It's not a bad idea to sometimes, attack something. Like I told you how it works. You either fight a problem, or you flee from the problem, or you pretend as if it doesn't exist. Okay. Or you fight it. Okay. But in this case, we just want you can assume anyone, but for your well-being, pretend with activity, surround yourself with activity. See, there is one psychologist, Maslow, I don't know, Maslow hierarchy of needs. He mentions some of the basic needs that human needs. But on the seventh hierarchy is a pyramid illustrating how you move from one stage to another. Food, sex, all those things are the first need of man. The second, security and all that. Then to love, and then to aesthetic, and then to transcendency. Aesthetic is that point where self-actualization, where you start appreciating beauty, love. If a man or a lady here listening to me, you've not gotten to that point where you start appreciating things around you, where you start loving nature, then you have not arrived at all. You haven't. You're still far. So,
Okay.
So that's just how it is. Get to that point. You can read. Go back to Maslow's needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, madam. There is another question. You can Google just Maslow's
Yes, hierarchy of needs.
yes, hierarchy of needs. If you Google it, it's easy. You can see the pyramid. How do you manage your emotions when you are How do you manage your emotions when you're so hurt by someone you love for? This was the last question I asked, right? Okay, no. This one is, how do you manage your emotions when you are so hurt by someone you love or care for so much? You talked about changing the channel. Please give practical examples.
Okay. Okay, so
I hope it's not Arise TV.
okay, so someone you love so much hurts you, and then how do you switch the channel? The question will now be, do you still love this person? Because there's something about love and loyalty. Loyalty is attaching yourself to something until the purpose to which that thing is achieved is solved. And that is so. If your love does not come with loyalty, then you're missing it is infatuation. Sometimes people think they love somebody, but they're infatuated with that person. And so when the person hurts them, they find it difficult. But if there is loyalty attached to that love, so even if that person hurts you, there is something that you remember. There is a good part of the person that said the person has not done it. They said there is no love. So it is based on something. It's conditional. It said there is no love at all. It is based on something. So you will be the one to define what is it. Your ability to identify what was it in the first place, then that is where the switch will come. It's either you now switch, or you recognize this is infatuation. There is no need. I have no commitment to this person. I could actually seek my happiness and love somebody else. You can turn your love to God or anything. But if a husband or wife is involved, of course, if you were in love from the onset, there is something about this man that got you there. There's something you remember about him, and you're happy. Except there was no love at all. Then at that point, I won't blame you, because there was no love, there was no loyalty. But if there was loyalty and there was love, if that man hurts you, provided he did not kill you, provided there was no threat, provided he gives you everything, but he just says something, or he disappointed you, or let's say, for instance, you caught you with another woman. Come on. It's just something. He has made a mistake, accepted. He has wounded your loyalty. But it's just something that he did. It's just something you remember. It's just that spark that you see in him, and that love is activated. The moment you do that, the amygdala will release the prefrontal cortex. The moment that threat that was there, that you were angry, that trauma, the amygdala will automatically release you. And what happens? Then the prefrontal cortex will come in. Then you start becoming rational. Then the joy hormone will come, and your love will blossom again.
Okay, thank you very much. Someone said a beautiful presentation. Let me have recorded tape, push for more health education. We will show the slides in the link in the chat. So just go to the link in the chat, click on it. You will join the Aspire for Excellence Foundation WhatsApp group. And probably we could also put the link to the record in there. I don't know yet, but we will see how that goes. Some hands were up before. I don't know if they're okay. There is no hand up again. There used to be one or two hands that were up. In any case, I think we run out of time, because normally we run out of time. We have 2 more minutes.
Okay. So let me just conclude finally. For the person, because I've taken a lot of those questions, but please, for the person that asked a question in the last month study, yes, fasting is good. You understand? Fasting has a way, because I'm treating the brain, fasting has a way of, triggering an autophagy process. It can help in metabolism. It can help to clean. Sometimes I'll advise that you could fast once in a while, but I always say be cautious about it. The Muslims do a lot of fasting. Be cautious about it. Be cautious about how you end your fasting. But I can tell you for certainty, it cleanses. It's a detoxifier. It removes some toxins from your body. It helps your system to come back to normal, and then you replace it with good nourisher. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again, Dr. Sylvia. Okay, thank you very much. Please, can you please give her a round of applause, a digital round of applause also, please, for those who are connected on the call. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you have taught us. And for all of us who are here, I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things that you can, I would say, use in your life. But just to make a summary, just a summary, she talked about breathing. She talked about movement. Okay. Second to the last slide, she talked about meditation. Okay, if you look at it, and several other things. So we will share the slides And
Nadi
you can
Shudi is there. Yeah, yoga is there.
Nadi Shudi is also here.
Yeah.
You can see it in the
Kuma,
Shudi.
yeah,
Okay, there is another one you spoke about.
yeah,
If you could type
Kuma
it before
dance.
we go. If you could type that
Kukuma.
one before we go.
Okay.
And,
Okay, I'm doing that now. Kukuma dance.
all right. Somebody has a hand up. Maybe I'll just take
Okay.
it. Fumilola,
Okay.
let's take you, and maybe that will be the last. And I thank everybody. So Fumilola, go ahead, please. Unmute and speak. Yes, go ahead, Fumilola. Oni, I think this is. Yeah, go ahead, Fumilola, please. Fumi. Yes, we can see your hand up. Just unmute and speak, please. You have a question? I can only see one hand up here. It's Fumi-san, but I'm not sure she's willing to speak. Okay, let me thank everyone. I begin. Adioye Yomi, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sylvia. Thank you, Bigly Luxon. Thank you, Blessing Olufemi. Thank you, Blessing Omowumi. Thank you, Catherine Amos. Thank you, Chidi Abariku. Thank you, Chuks Ego. Thank you, John Chukwemeka. Thank you, Chukuma Oche. Thank you, Daniel Abia. Thank you, Danjibia. Wow, thank you. This is Maraizo, thank you. Fumilola, thank you. Berimaka Odoka, thank you. Geoffrey, thank you. George E, thank you. Glory Anyanwu, thank you. Idowu Cornelius, thank you. Igbi Neweka Omorodion, thank you. Inyobanga Fahakan, thank you. John Goswell Ezuka, thank you. Kennedy Digital, thank you. Margaret Madwabuchi, thank you. Matthias Nelson, thank you. Nkechi Ugu, thank you. Odina Chuku Onye, I think this is Unyeachu, thank you. Jacob Oberibe, thank you. Ola Bola, thank you. Oreo Ojo, thank you. Oyetunde Ajeniro, thank you. Paul Chuksani, thank you. Philip Sisoko, thank you. Rose de Nuevo, thank you. Rose de Nuachuko, thank you. Dr. Sabine Sonigo, thank you. Seth Boluwatife, thank you. Titus Obiora, thank you. Tochuku Ben and Nefo, thank you. Udano Donatus, thank you. And finally, Victoria Chukwu, thank you. Thank you all.
Everyone.
Evening. Thank you all.
God bless you.
Do have a wonderful weekend. I will share the slides just click on the link. I will share the slides there and possibly also to record it for those who want to. That's Fire for Excellence WhatsApp group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sylvia.
Thank you, Dr. Sylvia. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sylvia. A lot of thanks are coming to you this evening. I'm sure.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful and humbled. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. We are really grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all. I will some present.